My goal is to drive economic activity in insurance and insurance technology, and that's what we're doing. Everything is focused around that. I want to make it easy for a startup to engage with me and easy for a carrier to understand whether what I'm doing is interesting to them, as easy as it can be.
Welcome to 5 Minutes, your quick dive into the wide-ranging world of insurance, technology, and leadership. I'm Miguel Edwards, and I'll be your guide as we explore these topics that are transforming not just the insurance industry, but the business world at large. Along with sharing observations I've made over the span of my career in insurance, technology, and operations, I'll be chatting with some of the brightest minds in business and leadership. Whether you're a seasoned executive or a rising star, an industry expert, or just curious about how technology is revolutionizing insurance, this is your perfect spot for your weekly dose of insights. This is 5 Minutes.
How's Insurtech New York been for you so far?
It's been great. I talk to and meet a lot of people in the industry, and this is a very target-rich environment for me. Nearly everyone in the room is a potential Scout participant, corporate partner, or member of our organization. So this is a great time for me to meet the community and continue to build the relationships as we do in insurance.
That's awesome. There's a question I like to ask all my guests because it's usually an interesting story.
Sure.
How did you get into insurance?
That's a great question. So I founded several companies and I exited a company and I was working with somebody else at an early stage. I was commercializing technology out of the US Energy Labs.
Wow.
And one of the things that came across my desk was very heavy in machine learning. And this is about 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I was like, I think that's a future. So I reskilled, I took an interim job after that, and in Progressive Insurance ended up relocating me to Cleveland to work doing machine vision work in their claims organization. So I did that for a few years and that was my entry into insurance.
Got it. So, you mentioned that you did multiple startups, kind of a couple exits. What would you say are some of like the kind of key characteristics of the profile of person that does that kind of work?
Somebody that's really curious and very diligent about chasing down things that sometimes take a long time to chase down. So the degree of persistence that's necessary to build a company that is going to persist is a lot. So I think you have to be ready to take a lot of defeats in stride and continue moving forward.
Got it. I'm curious as to what the kind of the visioning process looks like for you as you think about starting something. How does that kind of happen in your mind?
I chase things that I get really interested in. So I get obsessed about something. You know what I'm obsessed about right now?
What's that?
It's about early stage technology in the insurance environment. And the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing, I love building community.
Yeah.
I love helping founders figure out how to bring things to commercial, to their commercial potential. And no matter how, not every company is going to survive, but getting to the point where they understand where they can do that or not is just, I'm totally passionate about it. I get really excited about doing something and I start pushing into it. I start asking people what they need.
Yeah.
What are they interested in? What are you doing? What people are doing the right things? What are the wrong things?
Right.
What could be done better? We started with Insurtech Ohio buying beers for people, executives in insurance sitting around a table. And I kept asking them, what else would you like to see? Bigger events? Okay. What else would you like to see? Conference? Okay. What else would you like to see? The discovery of more early stage companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just kept pulling on that thread. And now we've grown much slower than we could have otherwise, but very organically. We haven't had to take any money. I'm doing exactly what the community is asking of me. And we're growing at a really amazing rate right now for where we are.
That's awesome. I heard a lot of customer centricity in there. So much of what we hear about our products looking for a problem, and you started with the problem, which is pretty interesting.
So I won't say I didn't come with a preconceived notion that insurance is not adopting technology fast enough or effectively enough,
right.
Because certainly there is a perspective of that. I was at Progressive, but I also worked at an insurance technology company running customer-facing technology. So I know what it is to deal with this carrier versus this carrier, how they buy differently, how long it's going to take, what you can expect, how the go-to-market motion needs to be different for an enterprise carrier versus another enterprise play, whether it's what area you're selling. Are you selling into underwriting? Are you selling into claims? Are you selling into pricing? These are all very different. And contextually, I think it helps me have these conversations with the companies that are here and connect with them, and that can help them understand, what the next thing is. And you say the visioning process, I help every company I'm talking to with this. Do you understand how far along you are with the carrier you're talking to, or how they actually buy?
Yeah.
Who actually buys there?
Yeah.
How many times is the person that you're dealing with your champion? How many times have they bought software in the last 3 years?
Interesting.
Anyway, I love doing this stuff and I love helping companies have better can't help everybody succeed. You can help everyone have a better understanding of where they are and how they can do better.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah. A lot of enablement there.
Yeah.
So that's a great segue, by the way, into describing, kind of Scout and what the mission is.
Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, what we're doing is helping insurance adopt and understand technology better. We're doing that in a very insurance-y way, I would say, in that I am, rather than dropping one conference on people's calendar and you come into a city for 48 hours and start some new relationships, but also build on your old ones, I deliver year-round events.
Okay.
So I have events in Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Detroit. This year it'll be in Chicago, Toronto, Nashville. We had one in Phoenix yesterday. Everyone that sits down around these tables hears what we're doing and hopefully buys into the vision of being part of something larger. The folks that sit around those tables are typically founders, executives, the VP plus at carriers, exited founders, consultants, people that look out into the industry for the new thing, the next thing, and are actually buying and making decisions about this and trust the person next to them. So I create an environment to build and sustain these relationships all year round and layer things onto it. So I have the event series and we have the membership communities. I'm also talking to 600. Well, I'm on track to talk to 600 companies this year.
Okay.
Over time, I want to be the expert in insurance technology companies in the United States. And that's where it's going to take me a few years. We're characterizing every one of those companies. I have a personal, or my partners have personal relationships with those founders. We have direct conversations with all of them. We put them on the virtual stage in front of our carrier partners and our brokerage partners. And we put some on the stage of the conference. I charge nothing for that. Zero.
Wow.
We are able to do that because we're monetized through the carriers and brokerages, and we have some economic development money in Ohio. But very much like my goal is to drive economic activity in insurance and insurance technology. And that's what we're doing. Everything is focused around that. I want to make it easy for a startup to engage with me and easy for a carrier to understand whether what I'm doing is interesting to them, as easy as it can be.
So do I think about Scout as an Edmunds or a Consumer Reports of the kind of insurance technology space? You are a directory, a place that I can go if I'm a carrier. It's a place that I can go to see what technology solutions are out there that I might need.
Well, let me reframe that a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Imagine that you're corporate dev, corporate venture, or just venture, strategy, innovation, partnerships, or distribution.
Okay.
You're the type of person outside of sales that is looking directly out of your company for opportunities to grow your company or improve processes within your company. Right? There's a number of different things there. Typically, you do that. You have an SVP or something that is running an organization. Maybe they have a couple people, smaller carriers. They may have one or two people. I am seeing very broadly what's happening across the environment. I'm providing a much tighter view. So a carrier may say to me, I'm just going to come to your events and see the companies on stage and meet them. That's no problem. You can do that. I want to come in as a lower level partner. I want tickets to all of your events. I want digital signage. I want you to do some co-marketing with me. And I want a little bit more of curated experience, all the way through an experience where I'm building an innovation program entirely for a carrier, where they're saying, I've got 4 innovation objectives over the next year, or corporate development, or whatever it may be. I'm going to say, I'm going to look at 10, 15, 20 companies in each spot, filter that down to 5, put them in front of you, bring 4 to your headquarters, run a full day program for you to understand how you interact with these companies and give you all of that context for less than what it's going to cost for you to hire a couple people onto your team to do it one time.
Got it. I love that. That's a very, very interesting approach. Real quick shift of gears here as you start thinking about the innovators that you work with. I'm going to ask this question in maybe a little bit of an awkward way, but I'm assuming you have seen and worked with a number of innovators that fail.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been one.
What are some of the hallmarks that you look for that could be signs of a liability, of kind of early failure? What are some of those characteristics, those traits?
We're talking about in like an early stage or a startup company or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, this one is almost cliche at this point amongst folks like you and I, but I've talked to some companies that are entirely technology and they have no context with experience and they are with insurance. And they'll say, I'm talking to innovation guy at XYZ top 15 P&C carrier. We're forecast to close with them in 3 months. And I have this conversation. Did you tell your investors that? How are you forecasting your investors? How long is it going to take you to run an enterprise B2B sales motion to a carrier, particularly a top 10 or top 20 carrier? So I also see the idea that I think there's perception, a lot of folks that come from outside of the industry, that we are slow because we can't get it together. And there are reasons that technology adoption within insurance are slow in different places, and not always good reasons.
Yeah.
But having a lack of understanding of why, as an example, claims is going to move in a very different fashion than underwriting.
Yeah.
Right. Because of the nature of the problems that they're trying to solve and what they need to address, and the difference between the opportunity cost of working on those things. I think that it's so important to understand, and this is universal across all companies, understand your market intimately. Be willing to adopt to what the market is demanding versus trying to push a product into a problem that may or may not exist that you believe exists.
Yeah.
And I love it when founders come in and say, I ask them what they did and think, well, I was that guy and I had this problem and I built this thing and it fixes that problem.
Right.
That is what I like to hear.
Yeah. Business problem. Yeah.
That's right.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, that's exactly right. Last question for you.
Sure.
You got to pull out your crystal ball and look into it and tell me what excites you from a technology perspective for the industry. Get us all excited for what you see.
See everyone talking about AI, right? So
Yeah.
I am a former practitioner. I built things 10 years ago that were not possible. Well, the things now were not possible then. I am very excited for AI to change the way that we interface with the technology that's required to run our businesses. So as an example, I really like the voice analytics stuff.
Okay.
Where now somebody calls up and they're having a conversation in a real time. You know who they are. It's coming up on the screen. You know what they have. You know what their coverage is. You know how to address it. So saving time for the people in this industry to do more human things using, and eventually it's not going to be AI. It's just going to be software.
Right.
And the improvements in software that are going to be driven by AI that allow us to have more human experiences and reduce the administrative overhead of so many of the processes that we have now.
I love that. Yeah, that's definitely an exciting future. And I was just talking to somebody else about the opportunity for AI to change the way we even think about problems, right? This whole mental model shift that we've got to embrace. So, yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been amazing. Hope you just enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.